It started as just another flight. Passengers boarded, flight attendants smiled, and Captain Marcus Johnson gave a reassuring nod to his co-pilot, Henry Brown. "Ready for this, kid?" Henry, still new to flying large aircraft, grinned nervously. "As ready as I'll ever be, Captain." The engines roared to life. The plane taxied down the runway, gathering speed, and then, liftoff. A smooth ascent. A clear, blue sky. Everything was perfect. Until, it wasn't. 30 minutes into the flight, Captain Johnson reached for his head. A sudden, sharp pain. His vision blurred. And then, his body went limp. He collapsed forward, his weight pressing against the controls. The plane jerked violently, tipping sideways. "Captain?" Henry shouted, shaking him. No response. The intercom buzzed. A flight attendant's worried voice came through. "Is everything all right up there?" But Henry could barely breathe. This wasn't a simulation. This was real. And he was the only one left to fly the plane. Inside the cabin, people felt the sudden tilt. Glasses slid off trays. A baby started crying. Passengers exchanged nervous glances. Then, the intercom crackled again, this time, Henry's shaky voice. "Loudspeaker, ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-pilot speaking. I need to ask if there is a doctor on board. Our captain has become unresponsive." A collective gasp. People turned to each other, fear creeping in. Then, someone stood up. A middle-aged man in a suit rushed toward the cockpit. "I'm Dr. Williams. Let me through." He pushed past rows of seats, disappearing into the cockpit. Inside, Henry had managed to level the plane, barely. Dr. Williams checked the captain's pulse. "His heart rate is weak. He needs medical attention ASAP." Henry swallowed hard. "How long does he have?" Dr. Williams hesitated. "I don't know. But you need to land this plane. Fast." Henry's hands shook. Sure, he'd trained for emergencies. But flying solo? With 200 people's lives in his hands? Then, a voice. "I can help." Henry turned, a woman stood at the cockpit door. Amelia Hart. No one knew her. She was just another passenger. But, there was something about her stance. The way she held her ground. "Who are you?" Henry asked. Amelia took a deep breath. "I used to be a pilot." "Used to be." Her voice was calm, but her eyes? Haunted. Henry didn't have time for questions. "Get in here." Amelia slid into the seat next to him. Her hands instinctively moved over the controls. "Okay," she muttered, scanning the dashboard. "What's our altitude?" 35,000 feet. "Okay. First, we stabilize." She adjusted the flaps. Tweaked the throttle. Slowly, the plane stopped shuddering. Passengers still held their breath, but the nose of the aircraft leveled out. For now. Amelia's eyes flicked to the fuel gauge. She frowned. "We have a problem." Henry groaned. "Of course we do. What now?" "We don't have enough fuel to reach our original destination." A cold chill ran down Henry's spine. "So, where do we land?" Amelia's fingers flew over the navigation system. She found the closest airport. "There's an emergency runway 60 miles east. We can make it, if we move fast." Henry exhaled. Then let's do it. Back in the cabin, passengers clung to their armrests. A woman whispered a prayer. A father held his child close. Then, loudspeaker, the intercom crackled. This is your temporary pilot speaking. We're making an emergency landing. Please remain calm. People screamed. But Amelia ignored them. She turned to Henry. You ever landed a plane before? He swallowed. Once. In a simulator. Amelia cracked a tiny smile. Well, guess what? Today's your lucky day. The airport was in sight. Runway lights flickered below. 5,000 feet. 4,000 feet. The plane shuddered. Amelia guided Henry's hands to the throttle. Easy, easy. 1,000 feet. Henry wiped sweat from his forehead. Brace for impact. Collision tires screeched on the runway. Fire smoke billowed from the wheels. The plane skidded forward. And then. Silence. Then. Cheering. The doors opened. Paramedics rushed in. Captain Johnson was whisked away. Henry and Amelia sat back, exhausted. Henry let out a breathy laugh. We did it. Amelia smirked. Yeah, kid. We did. As passengers clapped and cried, Henry turned to Amelia. You said you used to be a pilot. What happened? She looked at him. And for the first time, she smiled. Let's just say, today reminded me of who I really am. Rocket heroes aren't born. They're made. Rocket courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. Rocket, and sometimes, the right people step up at the right time. Life is full of unexpected moments, and sometimes, the most ordinary journey can turn into a test of courage. In those moments, we discover who we truly are, who we choose to be when the stakes are high and the fear is real. Everyone has a hero inside of them. Some never awaken that hero, while others rise to the occasion when the time is right. The question is, what would you do? If you were on that plane, facing the unknown, would you have stepped up and faced your fears to help others? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Because you never know when the next wild story will take off. Stay tuned for more incredible journeys and life-changing moments. Until then, remember, courage is contagious. Step up, face your fears, and you just might inspire someone else to do the same. See you in the next video. Fire airplane.